Hello, John the Bearded Vampire here. Welcome to another video. Another favourite band list type thing. I'm kind of tired, so if you yawn, you'll have to excuse me. I'm going to refer to Wikipedia for quite a bit of this. Obviously, I will introduce my own knowledge. It's not so much my own knowledge, it's just stuff that kind of relates it to me, kind of thing. We're going to talk about the mighty black splash death metal band of CRADLE of Filth. And according to Wiki, they were formed in 1991 in England, in Suffolk, which is quite funny because it's like an oldie worldy type place, is that area, from what I've gathered. A few years ago, just to link into that, Suffolk and the place where they were from decided they wanted to have something to represent their media coverage. So they asked the town folk and other people to recommend something that kind of spoke of the area. And unbeknown to them, they were inundated by CRADLE of Filth fans who all went, Danny Filth, Danny Filth, Danny Filth, who is the lead singer of CRADLE of Filth, by the way. So basically, by the end of all the voting, the number one vote, they could have had anything that to do with that, but the number one vote came out as Danny Filth. So for a short period of time, he was known as like the symbol of Suffolk. He called himself the Lord of Suffolk, the Lord Darkling, blah 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 blah, Lord Danny, and all that kind of stuff, Lord Filth. And they hated it so much they had a re-vote. Didn't include him. He wasn't allowed to be part of the vote, which I think was really unfair, really, because it was a public vote. And the public voted for Danny, so they should at least have just gone with it. Granted, it's not the image that they want, this kind of black / death metal frontman representing your local kind of village. But it is what it is. His real name obviously isn't Danny Filth. It's actually Daniel Davey. I think it's Daniel Davey. Does it say in here? Click on that. Daniel Lloyd Davey is his real name. But obviously, because his band is CRADLE of Filth, is known as Danny Filth. As I say, they've been around since 1991. They've been around for what seems like forever. They've got about a dozen or more albums out, including some live albums. As I say, they are kind of gothic, kind of black, symphonic, death. They're not specifically one genre. Depending on what they sound like for the specific album, depends on what their music is defined as. For example, my favourite album is Cruelty and the Beast. That's the first album that I bought by them. It is a concept album about the story of Elizabeth Bathory. And that is more gothic in sound. So that's kind of more kind of symphonic goth metal kind of thing. Some of their later stuff is more symphonic, purely symphonic. Some of their earlier stuff is more kind of death / black metal. I think the music over the years softened slightly. It's still kind of heavy beats, but it's not quite as kind of evil, if you get what I mean. They still talk about dark matter. you know, they've got a really famous T-shirt, and their line of merchandising is always very controversial. They've got a T-shirt that has close your eyes for your sensitive things, vestal masturbation. It has a picture of a nun, a naked nun, and on the back it says in big writing, Jesus is a CUNT. Obviously I'm going to mark this video as not for children, and put an 18 rating on it. Obviously I'm not going to swear. But yeah, that's their most controversial one. It can get you in trouble with the police. It can do all sorts of stuff. I particularly own it. It's one of my favourite T-shirts, or at least it used to be. I don't think it'd fit me nowadays, but I still own it. As I say, they have got a fair bunch of albums come out. Their first official album, not a demo tape or anything, was The Principle of Evil Made Flesh. Then it was Dusk and Her Embrace. They've just, a few years ago, released a second version of that. When it came out, it was released twice. There was like an original press and an edited press. And they've released the original press or something like that now. Principle of Evil Made Flesh came out in 1994. Dusk and Her Embrace came out in 96. Cruelty of the Beast came out in 98. As I say, that was the year that I really got into them. I'll explain a bit more about that later. 2000 was Midian. Domination in a Day 2003. Nymphetamine 2004. Pornography 2006. Godspeed on the Devil's Thunder 2008. Darkly Darky Venus Aversa 2010. The Manticore and Other Horrors 2012. Hammer of the Witches 2015. And Cryptoriana, The Seductiveness of Decay 2017. Going off those, they've also got a live album called Lovecraft and Witch Hearts, which is a 2 CD live album. They've also got one called Live Bait for the Dead, which is a very similar live album. Pornography, they've got a limited edition version of it called I think it's called Pornography Harder, Darker, Faster or something, where it's got some extra songs on it. Most of these all have different versions, like additions to it, like a digipack version and a normal version or a limited edition version. The other year, I think it was last year or the year before, they re-released Cruelty the Beast for their 20th anniversary. So that would have been a couple of years ago now. They released Cruelty the Beast 20th anniversary special. That was like a remastered and reconfigured. It was using much kind of better quality recording instruments, better quality sound, a little bit of remastering and retweaking on some of the songs, and a couple of extra songs thrown in. So I'm expecting probably in the next few years there might be some others. Darkly versus Versa. That's got another kind of remix kind of to it, but I can't remember what that one's called. There's also a orchestral album called Midnight in the Labyrinth, which they don't seem to mention here, which was brought out a few years ago, quite a few years ago now, I think. Let's have a look. yeah, so this stuff's not really in any particular order. But as I say, you know, they are a good band. They are one of Britain's and England's finest bands. They're forever on the front cover of stuff like Kerrang and Metal Hammer. Oh, I edited that. That's Lemonade, by the way, just plain simple Lemonade. They're kind of a fairly unique band in that they're forever changing band members. I don't know what goes on behind kind of open door, like behind closed doors kind of thing, but they have so many different kind of changes about. The only person that's ever stayed the same is Danny. I think pretty much all the other ones have changed. They tend to wear kind of, obviously, as you can imagine, one of the things that got me into them was the fact that they wore New Rock boots. It is where I first got introduced to New Rock boots. Obviously, if you know me, you will know that I love my New Rock boots. I have a decent collection of them. I've done a video of them. I won't link it in this description, in this video. I might leave it as an end card or something, I don't know. But they wear black clothes, like kind of like very, very bespoke black clothes with straps and leather and spikes and buckles and stuff. They tend to wear kind of black like kind of black and white makeup in different kind of patterns. Not like Kiss, how they wore theirs. It's just kind of like more kind of sinister, kind of like melting kind of thing. So yeah, that's basically all I can really say about them. They've got songs like, say, the Cruelty the Beast, that album came out. I first got introduced to Cradle of Filth, like I say, via Cruelty the Beast and via a nightclub that I used to go to. I think it was summer of '98. This new nightclub opened in town, and it was a rock club. My sister really wanted to go because she loved her rock music. She didn't quite know what she was letting herself in for, though. But she dragged me along, and it turned out to be a rock/metal nightclub, where bands such as like Fear Factory, Cradle of Filth, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Typo Negative, you know, all these kind of Marilyn Manson, Cold Chamber, you know, all these kind of like, what to us were kind of like a new kind of wave of music. Because she was like, we both began listening to stuff like Bon Jovi and Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses, you know, and we thought that was kind of heavy at the time. And then we went to this nightclub and bang, in came all these kind of really heavy tunes. But we liked it, so we kept going. And I'll say, Cradle of Filth were one of these bands that were continuing being played. One of the fans of Cradle of Filth that was there wore New Rock boots. We got chatting to the guy and learnt about them, like the band and New Rock boots. I mean, and then I got my collection later that year in an art excursion. We went to London to see a few artists display kind of collections. I went around very fast with one of my friends, and we asked if we could go just locally, just looking around London. We went to the HMV there, and Cruelty the Beast was there, so I was like, oh, you know, I'll pick that up. So I bought that, listened to it on the way back to where I live. And it's become my favourite album. I'll say it's all about Elizabeth Bathory. Normally, their albums, they do concept albums. Like I say, there's Cradle of Cruelty and the Beast is a concept album. Godspeed on Devil's Thunder is a concept album about this kind of, I think it's like a Russian count or something, I can't remember. Pardon me. But they do like to do concept albums, and the concept albums are really good. As I say, the Cruelty and the Beast one is my favourite of all. Yeah, they also have, what else isn't on that list that I've mentioned of albums, is an EP called From the Cradle to Enslave, which is just like a remix kind of, it's almost like techno music. It's like metal meets techno, like black metal meets techno. It's quite an interesting mix. They have videos out. They have one called Pandemonium. They have one called Peace Through Superior Firepower. And all these are kind of live concert albums and video collections and stuff. They'd released a song called Babylon AD, and that was just a single. They released it just as a single, but they released it on a DVD and not a CD. So when you put it into your CD player, it won't play. You actually have to put it into a DVD player, which is cunning, because it included the video to it and a load of websites to links to their websites and stuff. And that's the first time I came across like a single on DVD. It was quite interesting. What else can I tell you? Yeah, some songs. I will post a list of songs that I like by them. Not so much for the video. Sometimes it's for the video, sometimes it's for the actual song itself. So some of the songs that you will read and click on might be just lyric videos. Their videos tend to be, as you can imagine, quite outrageous. Lots of naked women, lots of kind of little demons, lots of kind of dwarves, lots of weird goings on. One of their most famous songs is her Ghost in the Fog. That's a brilliant song. It's from an earlier album from when I first listened to them, but it's one that I didn't know about until after I knew about them. And it wasn't one that ever got played in the background kind of thing, and I was like, who's that kind of thing? It was one that I didn't know about until after. Obviously I own all their CDs. They're one of the few bands that I will buy new stuff from rather than just download it or whatever. I like to own the physical CD itself. Yeah, I think that's going to end it there. I think I mentioned them quite a bit. They've gone through record deal after record deal, recording company after recording company. They've got their own recording company. They're on Nuclear Bass. They do all sorts of stuff. They have different eras, apparently, depending on who's in the band. According to Wikipedia and all that sort of stuff is, they have a video. They have a film. Cradle of Fear. It is a horror kind of thing where Danny Filth is the main villain in it. It uses a lot of their music. It has a lot of their kind of imagery. So it's quite a weird, twisted little film. It's quite a cult film. It's become quite a cult film amongst Cradle of Filth fans. On their Facebook page, everyone is forever posting it. Look what I've just picked up. Oh, have you heard of this little gem? And, you've got people acting as if they've only just discovered it and it's a brand new thing, or no one else has ever heard of it or whatever. It's quite funny. What else can we do? Yeah, I think it's going to end it there. I think I hope you've enjoyed it. It's very kind of random, it's all over the place, but I hope you got something from it. They're a decent band, definitely worth checking them out if you are into metal. If you aren't into metal, chances are you've already heard of them. If you aren't into metal, then, well, you know, it's a suggestion. You don't have to kind of look into them, but they're kind of worth checking out as a British band. If you're from Britain, you know, it's worth kind of checking them out just purely because they are British, basically. And I do like their cup of teas. Yeah, anyway, leave it there, I think. I was going to tell you something else then, but I won't, because I'm going to end it here. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, comment, blah, 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 blah. I do appreciate it when you do. I know not many of you ever do kind of do that, but, you know, it's just nice when you do. Bye.